Hi y'all. Okay, here's the part I promised you with just the fractions. Okay, so the first thing you need when you're doing fractions for adding and subtracting, you have to have the common denominator. So 3 and 8, the smallest number that they can both go into is 24. Your whole number stays where it was. Now, 3 times 8 is 24. So I have 1 times 8 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So I have to go 5 times 3 is 15. Now I can add these. Add the whole numbers. 5 plus 3 is 8. Bottom stays the same because it's add or subtract. And then I'm going to add the numerators. 23. Okay, this can't simplify, so that's your answer. Now, subtracting, same thing. Okay, I already know, because I already figured it out over here, I'm going to have 5 and 8 24ths minus 3 and 15 24ths. Okay, I got a problem here though. I can't go 8 minus 15. When we are subtracting, well, some numbers are negative, fine. But when we're subtracting, if we have fractions, we don't leave them negative. So we're not going to subtract this way because 5 minus 3 is not going to be negative. So you're going to have to borrow. In order to borrow, this is what you do. Okay, if I have 8 24ths, whoops. Okay, so I need to borrow. I want something with a 24 on the bottom because I have to add it to this fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow one of these, right? It's going to be a 4. Any number with the same number on the top and the bottom is 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 24 24ths. So this is 4 and 8 24ths plus 24 24ths, which would make it 5. This is the one I borrowed from here. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 29, 30, 31, 32 24ths. So now over here, I'm going to rewrite this. I have the 4, 32 24ths minus 3 and 15 24ths. Now I can subtract. I have 32 minus 15. So whole number, 4 minus 3 is 1. Math sheet, 32 minus 15 is 17 24ths. That does not simplify, so there is your answer. So anytime you end up with your fraction situation here and you can't go 8 minus 15, you're going to have to go over here and borrow from the whole number. Whatever you have on the bottom, that's what you're going to add because it already has the least common multiple on the bottom. Okay, so add and subtract. You leave the whole numbers, you find equivalent fractions, and solve. Multiply is different. Okay? I'm going to go 3 1/4 times 1 1/2. Okay, multiply, you cannot leave the whole numbers. You have to turn to an improper fraction. Okay, in the other video, we learned how to do that. 4 times 3 plus 1 over 4. Okay, so that's 7/4 times. Then I have my 2 times 1 plus 1, 3/2. Now you just multiply like they're plain fractions. So this is 21 over 8. That simplifies because I have a big number on the top. Only simplify if it tells you to. Okay, read the directions. If it does not say simplify, don't do it. Leave it. If it says simplify, which most of the time it does, and I think at this point it always does, but always check. Okay? Now, 8 goes into 21 twice. So if I have this, 8 goes into 21 twice. That gives me 16. 5 left over. So I have 2, my whole number. I have 5 left over. That goes here. The 8 stays on the bottom. So that's 2 and 5/8. How many times does the bottom go into the top? That's your whole number. How many are left over is the top, and then your bottom stays the same. That is how you multiply the fractions. Okay, then we have a mess. Let me look. I'm going to copy this off of here. 3 minus 1/3 times. This is an order of operations, and it's got fractions in. That's why I saved it for this video. 3/10. Okay. Order of operations, parentheses. Okay, I need the least common denominator. 2 goes into 10, so I'm going to use 10. So this times 5, this times 5, so I have 5/10 plus 3/10 is 8/10. Okay? So now I have 3 minus 1/3 times 8/10. Anytime you have a number up next to a parenthesis, you're going to multiply. So now, multiply first. Comes before subtract. So now I have 1/3 times 8/10 is 8/30. So now I have 3 minus 8/30. Okay, I have a whole number. Now I'm back to my borrowing situation. I'll have a fraction to subtract this from. So if I have a 3, and I want something that has 30ths, so I already have the right number on the bottom. I'm going to borrow, make that a 2. So 2 plus 30/30ths is going to give you that 3. So I put that in here. 2 and 30/30ths minus 8/30ths is 2 and 22/30ths, I think. Okay. Make sure I'm on the right track here. Alright, so now we need to simplify. Looking at the answer, and yeah, it's weird. Anyway, simplify. These are both even, so I know you can divide by 2, right? So I have 11/15, and I'm going to check something real quick. Interesting. Okay. They have it as a... They did it different. I don't like the way they did it. So, this is what we have. You want to know how they did it? They did it like this. So they changed the 3 into an improper fraction, and then borrowed, and then, yeah, they made a mess. This is how you do it. Add first. Multiply right here. Subtract. You gotta borrow because I have no fraction to borrow from. Simplify. Does that get everything I wanted to show you? I believe so. Subtract, multiply, just try to make sure. Okay, they do have in here a simple simplify. Okay, they have in here something like, let's go 24/18. It wants you to simplify. Okay, they're both even again, so I would start with 2. That gives me 12 ninths. Okay, I have to think because they're not both even. 3 goes into 12, and 3 goes into 9. 3 goes into 12 4 times. Whoops. 3 goes into 9 3 times. So I divide this by 2. Even if I have to go divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, if they're really big numbers, I'll do it because I don't want to try to figure out that, 8 goes into them because they're really big and I just don't know. So if they're even, I divide by 2 until I get numbers that I can recognize and they're easier to simplify. And then, of course, the reciprocal, remember, if I have 24/18, the reciprocal, I'm not into spelling today, would be 18/24. Just flip it for the reciprocal. Convert, we already did that. And I think that's it. So that's the fraction part of the review for Module 2. See you next time.